Okay, the way that people talk about AI and if it's failing or not, take notice of that. I just want y'all to just watch. If you see a bunch of people saying AI is failing, see, they rush to do all this stuff and it doesn't even work. If that is your approach, that tells me you didn't understand A, what was being promised, B, what was actually deliverable, C, what the value was. Full stop. My name is Faith. I'm an AI futurist and career designer. And I want to talk about this because I was waiting on somebody to bring it up. But here we go. I'm currently in corporate. So I'm not a recruiter. I'm not an HR person. I'm currently in 9 to 5. I work in Big Four. Here's the thing. A lot of pilots fail. So when you see an MIT report that says, oh, well, 95% of these AI pilots fail, y'all do understand pilots, that's the point of the pilot. I used to sell technology, enterprise tech. So I can speak ad nauseum about implementation, the sales cycle of these tech products. You got to understand, it takes a good 3 years sometimes. Extensively long sales cycles to sell complex solutions, enterprise solutions, right? The technology takes a while to sell, takes even longer to implement. And typically the executives, when they're charting out their technology roadmap, they need to understand where the value is. Where's the business value? What's the highest impact that that tool can have? And then they work on that first to prove the value. With AI, there's a lot of regulatory issues. So in sectors like finance or healthcare, rapid transformation is coming, but they got to figure out the how to do it. What's the most high impact use cases? That takes a while. So if you're tracking, it takes 2 to 3 years to sell these tools, to even get them in the door, to meet with the executives, chart out a roadmap, come up with a plan, sign on for a pilot. That takes a while. And then it takes another year or two to work through the pilot phase. Work out all the kinks. Decide if you want to renew contracts. Like, this stuff takes a while. Do you know that technically a lot of these like generic AI solutions have only been on the market for mass, like everybody's consumption, for people to use for free? It's not really free, but for y'all, it's no cost. It's been like a few years. So people rushing to make definitive assessments of like AI is failing, it's not going to work, or AI is the best thing ever. The middle ground, especially as a person who works with complex solutions, I've sold them, but also now that I'm on the consulting side, what I would say is this: the transformation is coming. And on my page specifically, I talk about what the push is going to be. So this is my big bet. My big bet is that what's going to push us into that phase of rapid transformation is going to be global conflict. Think about the space race, but for military operations. You see, the one thing I haven't talked about on my page yet, during my Final Frontier series, there's 3 frontiers that we have to address. The first thing I addressed is psychological warfare that's happening. Psychological warfare that's happening in America. People don't know what's real from what's fake. But the second thing I talked about also is, sorry, I got a call. The second thing was class conflict. But the third thing I haven't talked about on this page yet is military conflict. Watch the news. As things start to ramp up, y'all need to be looking at Ukraine, all eyes on Ukraine, all eyes on Gaza, because that tech exists. They're field testing it. And all it's going to take is the right situation to create a need for rapid growth and innovation. So that's why I just want to wrap this all in a pretty bow, because there's so much to talk about. I might have to do a live stream just on this topic about what AI can do, what it's not great at doing at this stage, at the earliest point. But then also we'd have to talk about what the use cases are. So another thing too, before I go, because like, again, there's just so much in my brain about this topic. Another thing too, as somebody who's in sales and marketing, right? There are always use cases for automation and AI, but what people are finding is that AI is great at back office tasks. It's great at stuff that you would have offshored anyway. So remember, if you watch a lot of my content, I said before how AI is not even taking people's jobs yet. It's actually the economy. And they're slow to hire. Companies are slow to hire right now. That's due to political stuff, but also economic factors as well. So we're not even seeing the actual full force of tech innovation hit yet. What we're seeing is economic indicators of probably like a looming recession that people are worried about. So essentially, companies are slow to hire and they're not even posting that many jobs because the jobs that are gone are gone. So if you were made redundant or you were laid off, you're probably just forced out of the American economy altogether for most of you, unless you get really strategic with services like mine, personalized custom services that solve a specific issue. You are going to be forced out permanently. And they already branded those waves of layoffs for the past year as people who don't deserve to be there or low performers. So again, like those jobs, they're not going to rehire. They're not going to backfill. They're just gone. Some of those redundant administrative tasks that could have been offshore to people overseas, also gone with the AI and automation, that we do have. So anyway, I said all that to say, are a lot of these AI pilots failing? Absolutely, because most pilots technically are supposed to go through this phase. This is the first part, the beginning part of the journey, y'all. Again, when you understand at the enterprise level, I'm not talking about small companies with boutique solutions, personalized offers. Okay, we're talking about small, like small firms, small companies small startups that are making a killing right now using AI because they have a specific solution, a specific offer, and they're nailing it. Anybody at any age can create something and strike gold. But from an enterprise perspective, which is where I'm coming from, yeah, there's a lot to be dealt with, and it doesn't happen all at once. We got an aging workforce of people who are in these white collar positions. They half the time they don't really upskill for real, so they got to figure out how to use it. Then half the time, some of the AI solutions that are being built, if they're custom in-house solutions, which is a whole other conversation. Let's just stick to the generic ChatGPT, Claude type stuff. You can use that, but it has to keep up with the pace of innovation for your business. It has to flex and change to your business. And I feel like that's easier to do with solutions like ChatGPT versus maybe in-house boutique solutions. I don't know. Like, again, it gets extremely complicated. I might have to do a live stream on it. But I guess I said all this to say, I would not get excited yet because companies are still searching to prove the value and they will find it. And you know who's great at creating needs, orchestrating chaos, and coming up with a solution? You want to take a good guess at who's good at doing that? 3 letters. As in 3-letter agencies. Anyway, I'm done.